Okay folks, today we're gonna focus on RX1200, a 12-bit sampler instrument by Inphonik, which imitates the legendary SP1200. This is totally a beginner's tutorial, so if you are an experienced user and I forget something, please write it in the comments down below. Okay, what do we got here? We got 8 faders, 8 buttons, a mix volume and a velocity response, and these 2 displays here at the top. First of all, we got 8 samples here. But that's not all, we also got bank B, bank C and bank D, which also houses samples, so in total we got 32 slots for samples, and we get to choose here which parameter we want to change with this fader. So first of all is tune, so play this on my keyboard and change while playing. You can hear the pitch is applied to the sample. Next thing is the decay. So this is a very long decay tail here, and we could shorten it. Same goes for the mix and the loudness. Here we also got a left and right pen knob. Oh. But there's more. In the first display we see our sample information for the last sample we selected here. We can change if it's a stereo, a mono, only left or only right sound. This is clearly a stereo sample. This left and right doesn't make it left and right, it just defines which audio channel is played back in mono. So this is important if you got a stereo sample and want to degrade it down to mono. If your stereo sample doesn't sound right in mono, you could always choose to only play the left side as mono or only the right side as mono. So this is very helpful. We get a filter with 3 settings: low pass 1, low pass 2 and dynamic low pass. So this is very handy. We also got a speed section here, and we could choose between half the time 32 RPM, which mimics the slowdown of a vinyl player, 45 RPM, which is basically the same with the faster setting. We got 1.5 time, 2 times the time, and 87 RPM, which is usually used for smaller vinyls, I guess. And depending on which setting we select here, the pitch range we got to choose from will sound different. So if we reset that, or if we choose this, the middle position will always be the same pitch as the original sample. But as you see, 45 RPM gives us a little bit more pitch movement that's possible. I will not go through all this. We got a fine tune knob, which is in cents. We got a gain, which lets us up the decibels, or which lets us increase the decibels or the level. And we got this output, where we could choose from 1 to 8. The second display is only for displaying which patch we use, and as you see there are some patches in here and even templates for different styles, so you could choose this beforehand and import your samples. We also got a clear and an edit button over here. The edit button brings up this little tool window here. You already know it if you use Reason, where you could redefine how long your sample will be. The velocity response usually doesn't matter that much, but we could raise it if we want to. So if we press hard or press soft, we get velocity changes, which isn't that important on a device like this, where you want stiff sounding stuff coming out. You can also clear the sample here, which we won't do in this example. If we want to access the next bank, we can click this white button. Same goes for the options we have to manipulate the sample. And that's all for the front side of the device. We also got the back side and the 8 different stereo outs here. So if we want to, we could have 8 stereo channels or even 16 mono channels out of this. You just have to pan your stuff left or right depending on which output you want to use. We also got that channel polyphony setting here, which lets us decrease or increase the polyphony of our sample counts. So for instance, for a drum I would typically go with 4 or 3, but you could say it's only 1, so no drums will lay on top of each other. So if the kick drum and the snare plays, no hi-hat will come through at the kick drum or at the snare because it's limited to 1. We also got that keyboard layout here. And if you zoom in, you see the octave mode just plays all 8 samples until from C to G. So C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, and leaves out 3 blank spaces where no sample is. So you could easily define it's from C to G, from C to G, from C to G, from C to G, or you could switch into linear mode, which deletes these blank spaces and slides all the banks down, so you could play all the samples in one go if you just go up. We also got that CV chromatic layout, and this defines a pitch range from -8 to +7, so from E2 to G3. And what we could do with this, in our bank C we got a bass tone here, and we want to pitch it and don't want to use the pitch slider here. We could hook up some devices in Reason which lets us play this. So for instance, it's the RPG8 monophonic arpeggiator. So with this RPG8 we could just hook up gate CV out into C1, which is our bass pad, and the pitch goes into the note CV out. So if I play this C1 here, which is on C3 on my keyboard, I could go down until E2, or I just can go up from C. So we got 1.5 octave to play with our bass, and this should be enough to make a cool bass line out of it. You could use the same trick for playing a melody with that. You could also use a matrix pattern sequencer for this. So let's unhook this and go from gate CV and from pitch to note. And if we now hit run, So you see we got plenty of options to trigger this. Important to say is if we use these channel outputs here, there will always be a stereo sum output out of the main out. So if we drag this to a new mixer and go to bank A, you see it comes out of our new mix channel, but it also comes out of the first mix channel. So if you want to use it to split your sounds, just deconnect this and reassign all your sounds to a different output. Okay, I guess that's everything for this beautiful device. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you learned something, and if so, please leave a like and a comment down below. This helps me a lot. And please consider subscribing, because this helps even more. I guess that's all for today, guys. See you next time. Have a nice day. Bye.